Alright guys, so I want to react to this today because I found this quite interesting. Now, little side note, why are you covering half the screen, Fancy Truck Stop? I do this every single video because of the YouTube copyright, their bot. Even though what I'm doing here is fair use, the problem is, if I don't cover the half the screen, the bot thinks, oh no, he's just stealing a video and re-uploading the same video. Even though this is fair use because I'm stopping and talking and giving my, change the actual product. But anyway, though, that's why I do the little half the screen I cut off. I apologize for that, but that's pretty much why. So, the Panthers owner was fined $300,000 for throwing a drink at a fan from the owner's booth against Jacksonville on Sunday. If you did not see what happened, apparently the fan said something to the owner who was in the owner's booth. He looked up, said something, upset the owner. Owner takes a cup of drink, throws it over the edge of the booth and onto the fans. And apparently, for some reason, thought that was a good idea. So, I want to go and react to this today and kind of see where Pat McAfee is sitting and what his thoughts and opinions are. Let's get it, guys.
David Tepper, he had a little bit of a meltdown, you could say, at the Jags game. Have you ever seen something along those lines? And also, what?
So, little side note here. I just want to go ahead and look at this. So, this is the whole situation, and it's kind of weird, the angle. But the fan is down here, right? And the fan said something to David Tepper. David Tepper is back here. So, the fan said something to him. And his first reaction is, take a drink over here and throw it over the edge here. Because keep in mind, this is not a window. This is an open area. So he threw the drink over the edge here and hit the fan right here. He threw it right at his face. So just a little context there.
And maybe, they have to fine you for doing something. And David Tepper's the one telling you, hey, you can't.
Hold on, though. I just saw something. Who's wearing the crowns in there?
Crown?
You see the crowns?
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple crowned. Look in the front row here.
I think
Crowns.
it's New Year's stuff. Isn't that New Year's stuff?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
Crown.
Or maybe they just want a pageant.
Maybe. Congratulations.
Maybe they're royals. Maybe they're.
I believe it's this fan right here. So the fan said something, again, something on the point that really upset David Tepper. David Tepper, wasn't too happy here and threw a drink at the fan's face. Which, again, listen, at the end of the day, we're going to get to his apology later in this video, but what he did was incorrect, okay? The fan, first off, is a grown person. They're an adult. They should not have been saying or whatever they did or said to him. But no matter what they said to him, as an owner, you have to be above that. You cannot act like a drunk child, because I'm sure the fan, whoever this was probably also drunk. So it was like a drunk person screaming at maybe another drunk person. I don't know if David Tepper was drunk, but I'm saying the fan was probably drunk, okay? You can't stoop down to the level, no matter what they said. Again, they're a Jaguars fan. They could be saying anything about you, because they were getting destroyed in this game. You can't let your temper get the best of you.
Maybe this came from Burger King.
That could have been it, too.
Maybe Tepper.
Have it your way. I don't know if those are Burger King crowns.
Could be.
Those look like legit. Those look like real crowns.
What if Tepper dubs one person every single time he's in the suite? Like, hey.
Fan of, because on one hand, as a pure fan of the sport, fan of entertainment, fan of the fact that this is all an entertainment business, wildly entertaining. I mean, that is it's dramatic, it's entertaining. Guys showing some passion, showing some fire, showing some energy. I like that. But on the flip side of that, I also know what would happen if a fan did that, or if a player did something similar, like your fans getting kicked out, probably never let back in the stadium. Player definitely getting fined, possibly worse.
Suspended.
So he got fined. He got fined. I think it was the equivalent of about 35 cents for anybody else.
And I think, personally speaking, I mean, a player, I feel like, would get suspended. A player, if a player took a drink on the sideline, let's say a cup of Gatorade, right? And then another opposing fan was screaming at him on the side, and he goes up to that fan, and he throws that Gatorade in his face, that player is getting suspended for at least 1 to 2 games. Definitely getting fined. I feel like he's the least getting suspended for 1 to 2 games. So that's what I'm saying when I say, like, I understand J.J. Watt when he says that, it's a passion. It's entertaining, obviously. And yes, this is an entertainment industry, very clearly. But at the same time, though, like, as an owner, you have to be held to a higher standard that you're not going to act like this. Because how are you expecting your players to behave themselves and act like, you know, will be held to a certain standard when your owner isn't even held to that same standard? When your owner is reckless and crazy. Like, it's hard to really justify saying, well, you know, listen, you got to make sure as a player you don't do A, B, C, and D, but your owner's doing it. It's the whole problem with Dan Snyder, and now David Tepper is literally becoming Dan Snyder V2.
Else, but I mean, it's you can't say like the guys just because he's worth $20 billion. What? So you want to fine him $1 billion? Like you can't do that because in the NFL you got to go to a percentage-based fine system on players, and if I got a roughing the passer penalty, that would really hurt. So I don't want that. But I don't know. I mean, when I
JJ's like, you tell me, they're finding Jalen Warren $49,000 for blocking a guy in the chest coming through the A gap, and obviously we combated that with a couple other plays as well. $300,000. So you're saying 6 blocks?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about it like that.
You're saying 6 blocks?
6 blocks
is okay for an owner to toss. Interesting.
Yeah, I definitely will say it probably should have been a bigger fine. And I do agree with JJ here, is that you're kind of opening up Pandora's box, and it becomes like a domino effect if you really start saying, well, players should be fined based on the salaries. Because Jalen Warren, for this whole entire year, is going to make $750,000. When you look at the fact that $50,000 what he's getting fined for one said block, yeah, that's a lot of money. Now, keep in mind that players can write off the fines on their taxes as, you know, business expenses. But at the end of the day, you're still going to be, you know, paying some of that money, especially out of pocket right away. So when you make, as a, you know, Jalen Warren, a backup running back, when you only make a certain amount of money a game, and your whole entire paycheck now is going toward one hit in a game, you're pretty much playing the game for free. While, you know, as they're saying with David Tepper, I mean, you're making billions upon billions of dollars. $300,000 is definitely a questionable fine compared to what you probably should get. The problem is, though, when you start doing that, you start going into that, you open up Pandora's box, because now you have to justify it such you have to make it equal for every single person possible. So it's not just this, you can't make it case-by-case basic, because if you do that, then that's not fair to everyone. So you have to start going through every single situation, and then fines. You're going to be like, well, hold up, he hit him harder than this guy, then why did he get fined more money than this guy? Well, because he's making more money. But he absolutely took that guy's head off, and then you have players who might actually take a headshot on somebody because of the fact they're like, well, I won't get fined that much versus him. Like, there's certain situations, you open up a domino effect that just spirals out of control. So that's the only thing I will say when you're doing the whole, you get fined based on how much you make. That's the only problem there.
Interesting move here.
I gotta think. I'm not thinking twice about tossing another drink if it's only.
And it's also a little side note here. It's also like, and I'm just going to compare this to the real world. There are people who say that someone should get a speeding ticket should be based on how much you make. So if you make $1 million, your speeding ticket for going 50 over should be the equivalent of, I don't know, like $5,000, $10,000, maybe $20,000. Rather, if you make, like, let's say $15,000 a year, your speeding ticket should be like $50. So again, like I say, it's a domino effect that you have to set the same principle for every single person you're talking about, and then the problems start happening.
Only that, you know. I mean, might just toss another one out there.
What if he does do the Stone Cold Steve Austin cheers to himself, and he's like, yeah, next game picks him up again. We're having a 2.
There wasn't really an apology in there, but it was a statement.
So here's his apology statement that JJ Watt said. Isn't really an apology. He said, I'm deeply passionate about this team. Which means, oh, my bad. Apologize, guys. My apology for the apology. I am deeply passionate about this team and regret my behavior on Sunday. I should let the NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. I respect the NFL code of conduct and accept the league's discipline of my behavior. See, JJ is correct. This is not an apology. What this is saying, I was justified in my actions, but I went a tad bit too far. And it wasn't my right. It wasn't, I should not have been the guy to have to deal with whatever happened. So, as JJ's probably about to say, and my guess here, is that he's probably going to say the guy said something really effed up that caused his reaction to do this, and he feels justified in his reaction, which, again, like I said, that is a very interesting, like, I wonder what he said. I just need to know what he said, man. I really need to know what he said, because that is going to be the whole, Pandora's box there of saying if he's justified or not. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, again, like I said, I don't think an owner should ever do something like this. But to David Temper's point, he's saying, hey, listen, so whatever this person said was bad enough to get a reaction out of him to do this act toward the fan, throw, obviously a drink in their face. But, this is not an apology. This is literally just, he's doubling down on the whole thing. He's doubling down on saying, like, hey, I wasn't wrong for what I did, but I was wrong to not let someone else handle it and handle it myself. He's saying he was wrong for handling it, but he was not wrong for his actions. He was wrong for that, and he says because he handled it and not let someone else handle it, he understands he's going to be in trouble for it, but it's not because of the fact of what he did, it's because of the fact of him not letting someone else handle it. He is Dan Snyder V2, man.
I would love to know what the person said. Go ahead.
I am deeply passionate about this team and regret my behavior on Sunday. I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. I respect the NFL's code of conduct and accept the league's discipline for my behavior. We're moving on.
I would like to point out I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. That is him saying somebody said some crazy shit to me. I responded appropriately. So I want to know what the hell that person said.
That would be great to hear the other end of the story. I'm sure there has to be cameras somewhere that'll catch
Yeah, and that's exactly what I thought he was going to go with, because I feel like that's the most logical point of view you can have, is that there is something said, and his statement is doubling down. He's doubling down on what he did. He's not apologizing, which is, you can even make the argument, he might potentially should be suspended. Not suspended, again, he's an owner. But he should be fined even more, because clearly he's not learning his lesson on why he should not be throwing things at people. What he's saying is pretty much, hey, listen, I wasn't wrong for what I did, but I should have let someone else do it. Oh, man. I love this. Because this is entertainment. But at the same time, man, yeah, the owner has to be held to a different standard. This is inappropriate behavior, but it is what it is, man. I'm sure maybe David Temper was drunk. I don't know. The fan was probably drunk. Probably said some outlandish crap. Owner got ticked. Probably drunk. Allegedly. Not saying he was drunk. And threw crap on the fan. And is it right what he did? No, absolutely not. Do I care to a point where I think that, this is a bigger thing or he should be kicked out? No, I don't think he should be kicked out of the league or something. But I think this is definitely something that, hey, listen, again, as an owner, you can't be acting like this. But it is what it is. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.